Indeed, he has issues. T-Radar with us this morning. Good morning, T-Radar.
It's a great name, Motorcade, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Kind of powerful. Something about it. Motorcade.
Yes, and it came to the fore of when Helen Clark was speeding through Canterbury,
Of
South
course.
Canterbury, a number of years ago. Actually,
Yeah.
there was a minor story I saw, I think, in the paper last week about John Key speeding somewhere.
Yeah, racing through Samoa, but I believe that was the sort of the Samoans
That's right.
themselves, and they had to ask him to slow down because he needed to have a shower before he went and saw the damage and the chaos.
Nothing much was made of that, was it?
No, he seems to really like his showers.
Yeah, he does, doesn't
You
he?
know,
Wonder how many he has a day.
I don't know. Well, he had that problem when they were over in New York. The shower in the hotel didn't work. He had to go and knock on Kevin Rudd's door and say, "Can I borrow your shower, buddy?"
Yeah.
And in a bit of sort of, Anzac spirit, he went, "Sure." And then apparently there was a huge queue of New Zealanders all waiting for Rudd's hotel room shower.
I mean, he probably enjoys the shower. I really enjoy my shower.
Oh, yeah. You haven't got one of those ones that just sort of dribbles the water out, have you?
No, I've got one that just the Green Party would not be happy with my shower head.
No.
It just buckets down.
Oh, I've got the same. Marvellous.
Yeah.
I look at my Powerball and I think, is it that or is it the 2 fridges I'm running? Don't know.
Don't care.
No. No, I was watching the Music Awards last week.
Yeah.
And I never saw you.
No.
Shame.
No, it's because it was radio.
Oh,
I think we did
right.
have a video stream going.
Yes, right. Yeah, I
No.
should have tuned into that.
No, don't
But I was
worry.
trying to figure out whether I first heard Ladyhawke on Kiwi or whether I first heard her on Zane Lowe's BBC radio show.
Definitely Kiwi.
Yeah, I'm thinking it probably was. And then
Yeah.
I probably heard her on Zane Lowe, which is one of those interesting things, really, isn't it?
Just like to say, I mean, I wasn't the first, but we were playing Back of the Van, her original version of that, long time ago.
Ah, of course you were.
Long time.
Good work.
Yeah.
Good work. Anyone, were you there, obviously?
Oh, yes, covering it.
And did you see anyone
All over it.
smoking? Lots of smokers there?
Oh, lots of smokers.
Terrible, isn't it, the
Yeah.
music industry?
Yeah.
And probably the worst, most unfortunate story of the week involves smokers. This a British Iraq war veteran, only kind of in his late 20s, I think, when he was diagnosed, some kind of incurable lung disease. And
Yep.
they said to him, "Oh, look, if we don't give you a new set of lungs, you're going to die."
Yeah.
So they gave him a new set of lungs, and they were the lungs of someone who smoked between 30 and 50 cigarettes a day. He got lung cancer and he died.
Oh. So he died of what he was already going to die of.
Well, no, he died of something different.
But bad lungs
Bad
regardless.
lungs. You would have, I suppose you can't really fill out a form saying, "Do you smoke?" Because if you're up for a lung transplant, the chances of you filling a form out pretty slim.
Yeah.
But dreadful. They said they'd done some X-rays and they hadn't shown up any of the cancer or anything. But then when they put them in, the sort of the drugs that you get to stop rejection sped up the growth of the cancer. And isn't that the most unfortunate story?
So now, and so the lungs that went into his body were from someone who smokes up to 50 cigarettes a day.
Yes, between 30 and 50 roll your own cigarettes a day.
That advertising that we used to have on TV about the dirty-looking lungs that were removed from a dead body, false advertising.
Well,
because
I guess so, because I'm sure they must have seen them.
yeah, you think that the surgeon lifting their lungs out of the dead body would go,
Yeah,
these
because
don't
you
look
can
very
tell,
healthy.
you can have a look at an organ and see that it's not the sort of the bright pink shiny thing it's supposed to be. If you're familiar with organs,
That's terrible.
it is terrible.
I've got to say, very sad.
Very sad. Very, that sort of hope that you'd get that your lungs were going to work, and would you get over the rejection, and then suddenly discovering that through no fault of your own, cancer.
Gosh.
Dreadful.
Yeah. Hey, what about this business about a nuclear expert that's had terrorist links?
Look, French guy, and if you or I suddenly thought, I think I quite like what Al Qaeda stands for. How do you contact them initially? That would be my first question, because this guy is a sort of a respected nuclear physicist being held in France now on charges of passing secrets on. Is there an Al Qaeda homepage that you can go to?
Yeah.
Contact. Here's a convenient email address. Or I better see some FAQs. Is it obligatory to find myself wired up with some explosives on a tube train or a car?
Old Larden will have a Facebook page, wouldn't he?
You'd think he would. A bit awkward if he asked to be your friend. Do you accept it and risk being a terrorist collaborator, or do you ignore him and risk the rage of, an ignored terrorist leader?
Good point.
It's hard to know.
That's rocking
I
a
had
hard
to do that
place.
last night, a bit of Facebook adding, and all these people don't really know. I haven't been on for months and months and months, and
Yeah.
I just, I don't know who people are, and just adds them. It's awkward. Awkward.
But that's a really good point. How would you go about it? How would you go about finding a terrorist if you wanted to?
Well, I don't know. Apparently there must be a way, because clearly he's friended them up and he was sending them, information on places that could be likely targets in France. Virtually all of France, I would imagine. But the other thing was he was working on the Big Bang Collider.
The Hadron Collider
the
thing.
Hadron, the Big Bang thing, so perhaps he was involved with that.
Hey, last week we learnt on the show that not only are they doing that, clashing particles together in that collider, but there's another bunch of engineers who think it's a good idea to try and recreate the sun on Earth.
Why?
No idea. Actually, I can't remember. It didn't. Oh no, well, it's basically another way of getting energy. But they want to create it on Earth, right, in 2018. That's when the Earth disappears.
Party hard until then, I would say.
Yeah.
Because the thing about the sun, quite big,
a
lot of energy.
That's right.
Destroys anything within its sort of immediate future. You've got to wonder sometimes if scientists aren't a little bit mental.
Or they just want to do stuff for the hell of it, like crash stuff into the moon.
Oh, wasn't that disappointing?
I stayed up to watch it. I was watching it on the net.
What, did you have like a pair of binoculars watching the moon?
No, I was watching it online on NASA TV. Because the graphic promised this massive explosion with and you'd be able to see a big shower of rocks and dust and stuff. Nothing. No, I didn't even see one pixel move.
Didn't they describe it as a damp squib?
Yeah.
Terrible.
But the scientists, boy, they were excited straight afterwards. Woo!
Yeah, well, it's been a big week for the space people. Remember they discovered that new ring around Saturn. Enormous. It would fit 1 billion Earths in it.
Well, how did they miss this ring in the past?
Because it was so enormous and so big and made out of dust.
Oh, dust. It's a dust ring.
They could only pick it up with some light spectrometer.
Dust, anyone?
Dust. Here's some dust. Oh, and they knew that something might have been there because one side of one of the moons was a bit dustier than the other. And so there's this enormous ring.
Yeah.
It's just vast.
I do hope that they find water on the moon. Because it means then we can start setting up our moon base, and then
Wouldn't
we can.
It be good? Well, the guy from Cirque du Soleil, the leader, has just come back from space. Had his clown nose on up there.
Did he?
Yes.
Silly man.
Silly man. Clowns in space. Madness.
Well, what about gays in the military?
America, look, very strong. It was one of the things that Obama said he was going to repeal. They call it the DADT, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, in the American military. Essentially, we won't ask you if you're gay, and you won't tell us that you are, but if we find out that you are, on your way, and not to war. They like to throw them out for some reason because I think it's bad for discipline. So there's been this big push because, of course, in the military there is, a fairly significant proportion of people who are gay in the military, and at one stage there was quite a lot of them who were language specialists. And they were throwing them all out, and they didn't have enough Arabic-speaking specialists.
Right.
And so there was a bit of a hoo-ha, brouhaha there. And he said he's going to be repealing, but so far nothing sort of happening. So it's the big thing in the States now to get rid of that Don't Ask, Don't Tell, because, you've got a lot of decorated war veterans coming out and going, look, I was thrown out because I was gay, and yet I've done my service for the country. I'm a patriot. I've been decorated, for exceptional bravery, and yet you're throwing me out because of my...
Terrible. The military has a short memory when it comes to many things. War in general, of course. They always think it's a good idea. But the gay people have had roles to play in military for many years. You think about World War II, the pantomimes that used to happen around the world on various stages to entertain the troops.
That's right.
It ain't half hot, mum.
Yes, and the guy Turing.
Turing?
Who they credit in some ways single-handedly helping to win the war because he decoded with his knowledge of computer, he invented the computer essentially and broke the code of the Enigma machine, which meant that they could figure out what the Germans were doing. But of course, once they found out that he was gay, they sort of shipped him out and wouldn't reward him with any military medals or anything like that, and they castrated him, chemically castrated him, and then
terrible.
he. Repeatedly committed suicide.
They need to realise they need different skill sets inside the military.
They do. Madness. Anyway, between now and next week, a chance, I suspect, of becoming a millionaire. Tickets go on sale today, but the first draw is on Monday for a new game from the lottery. It's called Bullseye.
Ooh.
And obviously invented by the same kind of person who thinks it's a good idea to build a sun, because the chances of winning do look astronomical. The game, you choose a number between 0 and 999,999.
Right.
for a minimum bet of $2, and if the number that comes out of that draw is your number, you win a prize.
Oh, chances are pretty good, right?
It looks like they've got a whole lot of carny folk from those things with the slug guns that don't shoot properly and the tiny little beers that you win.
Yeah.
To go, hey, what can we do to fleece more money out of people?
Yeah.
Madness. I think you play it online, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Madness. So between now and next week, let's see if we can't choose a number between there and there and win a prize, shall we?
You're on, T-Radar.
We'll speak again.
See ya.
All right.
Time now, 24 minutes past.